Hey guys, this is going to be the video for the first assignment for this week, April 20th through 24th for 8th grade math. First of all, I'm going to apologize right off the bat because we are completely out of black ink. And so I wanted to print off some worksheets for you guys with actual coordinate planes, but we just have the hand-drawn ones here until I can get some more ink. So this entire section for this week is going to deal with slope. And if you remember that we talked about slope, it is shown as a ratio or relationship between two numbers. And in this case, we're talking about the slope of a line. And to find the slope of a line, it is going to be, the informal way we said was rise over run, okay? Or how fast you go up or down compared to or over how far you go left or right. We also wrote this as the change in y over the change in x. Okay, and so remember that if you're going up, it's going to be a positive number. If you're going down, it's going to be a negative number. To the left is negative and to the right is positive. And that's just the same as the numbers are laid out on the coordinate plane. The other thing that we talked about with slope is that you can tell if the slope is going to be positive or negative just by looking at the line. A positive slope is going to go up and to the right. Okay, this is going to be positive. Okay, and then a negative slope is going to go down and to the right. It's going to be negative. Okay, and so just when you're going through and doing your problems, you should be able to look at the line. The first thing is just decide if it's positive or negative. It'll still line up when you do the positive and the negative numbers in the ratio, but that way you can just double check your answers. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this example right here, finding slope from a graph. Remember that you can choose either point. I think in class, most of the time, a lot of us chose this point that was here on the left, but I'm going to show you it doesn't matter which point you choose, you're going to get the same answer. Okay, so if we start with this point right here, -1, -1, okay, we want to figure out the slope that we would need on this line to get to this second point. And remember, the slope is the same no matter where you're at on the line. I believe that all the problems that I've given you this week only have 2 points, but remember that there were multiple points on a line. You could choose the two that you wanted to compare. It'll be the same no matter what. So if we start at this point, okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I need to figure out how far I would need to go up or down to line up with this point. So if I started here, I would have to go up. And so I would go up, and guys, once again, I know this graph's a little rough, but if you're right here, we would go up 1, 2, okay? It would go up 2 hash marks or tick marks to get even with the other line or the other point. So that would give me a 2 in my numerator, okay? And then I would go over 1, 2, 3, 4. And since I'm going to the right, that's going to be a positive. Okay, so I went up 2 and over 4 to get from point to point. Now, the only thing I need to look at right here, 2 over 4, I need to always simplify my slope. And so 2 over 4 is going to change to 1/2. Okay. And if I kind of looked at that, if I know there's not a point on this line, but if I started here and I went up 1 over 2, you can see that that would continue to hit on that line. Okay. The second example is right here. We have a point up here in the top left that is -2, 3. And this one is 1, 0. Okay, I'm going to start at the point on the left again. And this time I'm going to have to go down to get even with this point. So if I'm at -2, 3, I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3 tick marks. Okay, since I went down, that would give me -3. And then I would go over 1, 2, 3. And so since I went to the right, that would be positive. Okay, now on this, there's a few things going on with this. Remember that when we write the slope, the negative sign can actually come out to the side. Okay, that's where we're going to see it written in algebra. You're going to see it out front. And then 3 over 3, okay, or -3 over 3, that can simplify because 3 goes into both of those numbers. So it actually would turn into -1 over 1, or we can simply write that as -1. Okay. Now, I told you that I could show you how it didn't matter which point you started at. So if I had started at this point, Okay, this time I would have gone up to get even with the other point. So I would have gone up 1, 2, 3. So that would give me a positive 3. Okay, and then from here, I would go over 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I went up 3 into the left 3, and going to the left is going to give me a negative 3. Okay, once again, I can write that as negative, 1 over 1 or negative 1. So you can see that it wouldn't matter which point you start in, the slope's going to be the same for that line, regardless of the point that you start on. Okay. If we look at your practice problem, this is problem number 2 on your assignment. Just try to pick one that we could look at. Down here, I didn't mark these, but this, if I started at this point, okay, which looks like it is negative 1, comma, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4. And this is 1, comma, 1, 2, 3, or negative 3, okay? If I looked at this to get from these points, okay, I would go up 1, okay, and going up 1 would give me a positive 1, okay, which would get me here. And then I would go to the right 1, 2, and going to the right would also give me a positive. So this slope of this line is 1 over 2. And once again, if I had started here, that would have given me a negative 1 on the top in the numerator and a negative 2 on the bottom, because I would go left 2, and negative 1 over negative 2. Oh, that's another thing I didn't show you. A negative 1, sorry guys, negative 1 over negative 2. A negative over a negative is going to turn to a positive. Okay, guys, I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to upload a second one from finding a slope from a table. Okay, thanks.